Savannah, are you cool if I toss to you?
Yeah,
at all?
for sure.
Okay,
I can
cool.
come over.
All right. Welcome in East Texas. Today's a weather impact alert day, and we're coming to give you an update on the severe weather. I'm meteorologist Sarah Blue. I'm joined by Savannah Hale. She's driving radar, and she'll also give us some updates throughout the rest of, well, we're tracking this severe weather. So we've had a pretty stormy day. We've been watching a few tornado warnings that have been issued down south. There is one just south of our coverage area out toward Jasper. If we want to zoom in on this tornado warning that we're seeing, that's going through 3 o'clock. Currently not in East Texas, but it is heading that direction. There's a chance it comes by and just clips Sabine County. If we could switch over to our wind tracker, we'll see what that rotation is looking like. There we go. Now, where you're seeing the green and the red meet, that's a sign of rotation. I've been watching this. It's not quite as tight as it was when they originally issued this tornado warning, but for all of the counties that are, or I should say all of the cities that are in this red polygon, you want to make sure you're in your safe spot. Can we put a track on this? This is going up to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. That way we can give you a timing of when it may reach your area, especially if you have loved ones that are down toward Deep East Texas, toward Jasper, heading that direction, or toward Burkeville. You can find your city here toward Aaron. That should get to you guys in the next 5 minutes or so. Jamestown closer to 3 o'clock. If it continues to hold, get toward Burkeville closer to 3:30. Like I said, we do expect this to come up and just clip the very, very bottom of Sabine County out there. Now, this is not a confirmed tornado. This is radar indicated based off of what we're seeing from the National Weather Service. Once again, it's moving up, and we expect it to come and just clip this. We'll, of course, continue to bring you the latest. Once again, this is out toward Jasper and Newton County for the areas highlighted in red. That's going till 3 o'clock. We also have several severe thunderstorm warnings in place across our area here in East Texas. It looks like a few of them were dropped, but we have one just out to our east toward Hemp Hill, south of Center for the areas highlighted in this yellow here. We'll be able to pop that back up in just a second, but that's what we're seeing, some pretty strong thunderstorms coming through. With this, we need gusty winds at around 50 or 60 miles per hour, I should say, for what we're seeing. We also have a tornado watch in place for several of our East Texas counties, but this severe thunderstorm warning out here where we're seeing lots of lightning, there is some pretty significant hail out of that as well. So my friends toward Hemp Hill that live south of Center, can we zoom in and see if there are any other cities that were popping up on our map there? Toward East Hamilton, you guys want to try to stay inside until the storm passes you by. Now, this is moving out to the east rather quickly. We're seeing some gusty winds out of it, like I said. Some hail, but let's just talk about the lightning. Pretty significant amount of lightning with this cell. Now, what's getting picked up here is a lightning strike that's happened within the last 15 minutes. That's cloud to ground lightning. So you want to stay inside. I always like to say when thunder roars, go indoors. That way you're staying safe. Now, this is not severe thunderstorm warn, but we're seeing this little line surge back toward Hemp Hill, toward Browndell. This one is all kind of moving out to the east and to the northeast. We're seeing gusty winds with it, as well as that lightning. Now, we did have a few severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued back out to the west. Those have since been dropped. We're not seeing quite as much lightning out there. The winds have died down a little bit, but I'm expecting some pretty gusty winds on this little segment here from Nacogdoches back toward Luff. Can you see where it's kind of bowing out? That's where we're seeing some gusty winds, and you have that little bow there. That's a mark of that. We'll likely see some more gusty winds from St. Augustine, this line back out to the south towards Zavala. All right, let's go back to that tornado warning that we're seeing. If we could switch over to our wind tracker, our Titan indicator picking up on some rotation there. No, I'm not seeing a ton of rotation out of that. It's not quite as organized as it was earlier, which is a good sign. They may end up going ahead and canceling this watch if it doesn't tighten back up there, but we'll of course continue to keep you updated. All right, there was a severe thunderstorm warning in place out towards Sabine County and Shelby County. That was up to the north, the one I believe I just showed you. They went ahead and canceled that from the National Weather Service. So these storms do seem to be dying down a little bit. Now, if you want to, we saw a Titan indicator that was just over here. This one's in orange. That one is just picking up. It looks like broad scale rotation. This is a very turbulent storm system that's coming through. Not a ton of rotation there that I'm concerned about. Of course, we'll continue to keep an eye on it, but I haven't seen the National Weather Service talk anything about that. Savannah, have you seen any updates from the National Weather Service?
Not a whole lot, Sarah. You're doing a good job talking about just kind of all the different things that they've been saying. We were watching, like we were talking about, some of those storm systems, and they were really gusting very strong earlier. In fact, that storm that they just dropped, that severe thunderstorm warning on in Hemphill, had some gate-to-gate shear that was very strong and was gusting out over 70-mile-per-hour winds earlier. So we were watching that. Thankfully, that storm has now moved over into Louisiana. So what I'm going to do here is I'll pop back up our reflectivity and show you where all this lightning is. That's the storm system that we're talking about, and I can highlight here and show you all the lightning Sarah was also mentioning earlier. So just from this system, almost 300 lightning strikes just in that small cell. So it's definitely been a strong storm. We've kind of watched it travel over the past couple of hours, and so that's something that we've been continuing to monitor. But thankfully, now that it's into Louisiana, we are watching some of these other storms and systems. Now, one thing, and I'm not sure if Sarah mentioned this, and if I repeat her, I am so sorry, but as these storms have moved through today, it eats up some of the energy in the atmosphere. So the good news is that as a storm system kind of moves through your area, systems behind it can't develop as strong. Now, that doesn't completely rule out that you won't get any storms, but the good news is that once you kind of have a stronger storm, you might not get a storm as strong right behind it. So this cell down in Jasper County, one of the reasons we've been watching it so strong is because we have not been seeing a storm in that area so far today. So this is one of those cells that we've been following and following and following. This specific cell that was in Jasper County started off in down near Houston in the Cypress area, and throughout the day has made its way up towards now Jasper and Newton County, and they dropped the tornado warning just for a little bit, but have picked it back up recently, and so that's why we're watching it again. But you can see it's got a lot of lightning there in this cell, and I'll kind of also play this out so we can kind of see the direction that it's been moving. You see it's coming up. It's been coming up from the Houston area and making its way up to where now is Jasper and making its way into Newton and Jasper County. So I'll pause this, kind of show you where it's at right now. Lots of lightning still in that area. Let's see if I can put a lightning tracker on this storm specifically. It might highlight our tornado warning. No, almost 500 lightning strikes in that storm. So it really hasn't lost any steam. We've kind of seen it bounce back and forth, go between, earlier I saw it at about 600 lightning strikes and then down to maybe 400, now back up close to 500. So it's definitely maintained its strength, and this is, again, because it's kind of been the only cell in that area so far. So this will hopefully soon move over into Louisiana as well, but if you do have any family out that direction, you might just want to give them a heads up that it is coming their way over the next couple of hours. Now, in general, as I zoom this out and kind of show you what's going on, everything in East Texas should mostly be gone by, I would say, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. We should be done with these storms. They'll be moved out. Most of us that have gotten a storm already this morning are now just kind of seeing rain, but we still could hear those rumbles of thunder. I know here in Tyler, where our studio is, we got some stronger storms this morning, but we've still been hearing periodic rumbles of thunder, seeing some lightning. So you still can have non-severe storms as the rest of these storms do move through. But this is kind of what's been going on up towards Longview and Tyler, Gilmer. That's where some of our stronger storms were this morning, and you can see just a lot of rainfall and heavier at times as well. Tyler's in it right now, Gilmer, Longview, Henderson, Jacksonville just on the edge, Jefferson and Marshall. So if you have anybody driving on I-20, know that this is a time that you're definitely going to want to drive slow. Again, those storms aren't severe. It's just some heavy rainfall. I don't even really see any or many lightning strikes, maybe just a few. Down south in deeper East Texas, Lovekin, Nacogdoches, Hemphill, and of course the further south we go, that's where we're continuing to watch things. And that's where we still have our ongoing tornado warning that hasn't quite crossed in to what we consider our deep East Texas viewing area just yet, but that's why we wanted to get on the stream. It could possibly, if it gets extended, go into just the corner of Sabine County, and we do consider y'all our East Texas family down there, so we are going to jump on air if that does come that way. But Other than that, we're just kind of here monitoring, making sure that things don't get too severe. And again, as things make their way through, it kind of eats up that energy, which is actually a good thing. But Sarah, do you have anything else to add? Anything?
Hey, yeah, I'm continuing to watch. There's an area, we just got a special weather statement out for it for Nacogdoches, Angelina, St. Augustine, and Sabine counties. It's this little line that's coming to you guys. We're seeing some pretty intense wind gusts out of it. If we're able to switch back over to velocity and maybe see if we can sample some of these brighter colors in here in the green. Now, we have been seeing some pretty, it does appear, gusty winds. That's why the special weather statement is out as this continues to move out to the east. All right, that's checking in. We're getting an update at about 85 miles per hour. Now, this is once again a radar estimate, so don't take this entirely. We could be a little bit off there because it is shooting pretty high in the atmosphere at this point. Still, our velocity is picking up 70, 80 mile per hour wind gusts. That puts us in hurricane force wind territory for this little Boeing segment that I'm seeing here. Now, make sure that you are just staying weather aware because this is such a gusty wind. We could see some trees get downed with that. It looks like Savannah just clicked on our Titan indicator there. It's moving at about 50 miles per hour. So if we could go ahead and throw a track on that, but the wind gusts are higher than that. The number that you were seeing is the wind gust. The number that you just saw, how quickly it's moving at about 50 miles per hour, that's how quickly it's going to get to you. So we'll go ahead and throw a track and give you a timeline of when it will get to your city. These winds are pretty gusty. Like I said, between 70 to 80 mile per hour from our radar estimates. There is a special weather statement out for that area. So make sure that you are staying weather aware. All right, toward Norwood, it should get to you guys in the next several moments. St. Augustine closer to 3, out toward Brodson a little bit after 3, 3:15 is where we're looking at that, out toward Milam closer to 3:30 as this continues to push out to the east. Now, this is very, very gusty winds. This could knock down some trees. If you're out on the roadways, I'd recommend pulling aside as the gustiest winds, I should say, come into your area. This could impact the roadways. It could knock down some power lines. If you have a battery pack, if you're watching on your phone, go ahead and plug your phone in. That way, if you do lose power, you will have as much phone battery as possible until your power gets turned back on. It's continuing to push out to the east. Once again, very gusty winds coming to St. Augustine, Norwood, and Milam. Right now, just to the east of Nacogdoches, crossing over the county line at the moment. Once again, a special weather statement is in effect for that area. Let me just go ahead and click it to see what they're saying. They're saying wind gusts of 40 mile per hour higher. They're also saying penny-sized hail is coming down. So just go ahead and stay inside while we're doing this, or while this passes you by. Now, currently, no watches or warnings that I'm seeing here in East Texas. We are seeing that severe thunderstorm warning out across the state line. Going back to the tornado warning, our hail tracker is picking up between marble to almost nickel-sized hail. The marble sizes that we're looking at are smaller than a nickel, so that's what we're seeing. Now, this is moving up to the northeast. Let's go ahead and check back to see what our wind tracker is saying. That way we can get a look at if that rotation is still holding on. And this is pulling off of the National Weather Service in Shreveport. Oh, it just switched, I believe, so now it's pulling off of Lake Charles in Louisiana. Now, I'm not really seeing any organized rotation out of that, which is a good thing. The green is showing us that it's going toward the radar site, so toward Lake Charles, and then the red is showing that it's away. You need a much more significant rotation and organized rotation, and I'm just not seeing that here. So that's a good sign that we don't have something on the ground. The tornado warning, though, still in effect for the next 13 minutes or so. I haven't seen any updates on if they plan to continue this or if they plan to just let it expire. Savannah, has the National Weather Service said anything?
No, they haven't said anything yet, so it still could just expire at 2:40, or it expires at 3. It's 2:48 right now, so we only have about 12 minutes left, and that's what happened last time we watched them with this exact storm system. They kind of let it expire for a little bit, and then they did reissue another tornado warning, which is the one that we currently have. But right now, like Sarah was saying, it's looking a little broad. red. It's looking more like some straight line or downburst winds to be maybe a rotation. But there's obviously a reason earlier that they reissued this, and you probably saw if you jumped on with us right when Sarah started, that tighter rotation, those bright red and greens close together that were really small and really tight did indicate that there was maybe a little bit of rotation in there. So maybe that's why they continued to issue it. But from this, what we're picking up right now from our Lake Charles radar doesn't really show anything tight enough. Now, again, this is really strong winds that could be moving through this area. So like Sarah mentioned, it could blow your cars off the road a little bit. It could knock down some branches that are loose in trees. It could blow off some debris around. So you want to make sure that you're still in a safe spot as this moves through. Definitely don't want to be outside anywhere, but I wouldn't necessarily maybe think that this is anything rotating maybe at the moment, just because the National Weather Service hasn't been providing updates. And usually if they see something, they're pretty active on jumping on there. We don't really see anything too concerning as of right now, other than just those strong lined winds that are bright red and greens together, but nothing really tight. It's more broad, like Sarah was mentioning, which is, I would say that's a good thing. So wanting to kind of zoom out here just for a brief second and kind of show you just the other tornado, or not tornado warnings, but severe thunderstorm warnings that are in the area. And of course, this little line of red and green that we were looking at earlier that Sarah was showing near Lovekin. Thank you, Brandon, for taking that for us. Near the Lufkin area, San Augustine. This is kind of where those bright blues, reds, and greens were earlier. So we can kind of see it's not as strong of a line at this point. So maybe those winds have kind of died just a little bit. That doesn't mean that they're not as strong, but maybe just weakened a little bit, which is always good. Again, we want to make sure that you're staying calm in these situations, and we're bringing you the latest. So we don't want to bring you anything that's too freaky. We don't want to make you freak out, but we also want to make sure that you're staying up on the latest. Right now, good news is, I think that, Sarah, maybe they will expire this tornado warning, which is good. They haven't said, I don't think, anything. Have you seen anything either on that?
No, I haven't, Savannah, but still, fingers crossed that they do, and that this continues to dissipate the way that it has been. Just like Savannah mentioned, just kind of broad scale rotation. Now, I am seeing a few little areas where we might see, if we could go back, so we're pulling off of the National Weather Service in Shreveport. Now, this is shooting a little bit higher, maybe some upper level rotation there, so higher in the atmosphere. But what we're looking at is, with a tornado, you need lower elevation. These storms need to be pretty close to the ground in order for a tornado to form. So if there's rotation high in the atmosphere, that's not a big deal. If we could go try to pull off of the Lake Charles radar and just scoot south a little bit. Yeah, you can see maybe a little bit of a notch coming in right there, but nothing that I am terribly concerned about. Still, though, that tornado warning in effect till 3. Hopefully they end up either letting it expire, and hopefully this continues to dissipate. Now, I was seeing some questions on Facebook on what's happening for areas out toward Frankston, Texas. That's between Athens and Jacksonville. So if we could take a wider look and switch back over to our reflectivity there. At this point, you guys are just kind of in the clear. Lots of rain is coming down in your area, but it's going to continue to clear out. What we're seeing here in these reds and yellows and greens is just rain. Now here at Tyler, this is where our CBS 19 studio is located. We're seeing some heavy rain. That's what we're hearing on our roofs, but really the lightning has passed. As this continues to push out to the east, we'll just have a steady tapering down of our rain, and then eventually we could get some dry skies. That's just what's happening toward Athens, I should say, and out toward Palestine. That's what all of this area is. Still, though, lightning across the region. The bulk of that storm system is out toward Deep East Texas. Savannah, are you able to click on it? Sometimes it doesn't pull up, but on our Cape layer, that we can see how much thunderstorm energy is left in our atmosphere. Sometimes this takes a second to populate into our system. Oh, hey, it populated right away. Well, so what we're seeing here is how much energy is left for these thunderstorms. This is something Savannah talked about when we hopped on the stream toward the beginning. But what we need for these thunderstorms to form something stronger is thunderstorm energy. This is what's called CAPE, convectively available potential energy. So as these thunderstorms move through, they'll begin to feed off of this. There is still a pretty significant amount of energy toward Hemp Hill and back across the state line. But for the majority of our East Texas cities where you're not seeing those colors pop up, that means that the energy has been used up. So you should be in the clear there for Jacksonville, Longview, Jefferson, and back to Shreveport. We are still seeing that little bit of energy out towards Sabine County and closer to Crockett. There's a little pocket over there that these thunderstorms may feed off of. So we'll continue to see thunderstorm activity through deep East Texas, through our very southernmost counties, which is what we talk about here at CBS 19. But still, we're watching this little area toward Hemp Hill. Can we switch back over to reflectivity and just see what's going on there? Ooh, look at all of that lightning out toward Jasper. Are we able to get a lightning count on this? Now, this is something that Savannah has been watching all through the morning today. She's been tracking that, and there have been lots of lightning strikes. Right now, over 500 strikes of lightning in the past 15 minutes. Savannah was saying earlier that there were, what, over 600?
Over 600 earlier.
Which is absolutely crazy. So make sure that you guys, if you have loved ones, are staying inside. Now, even if this tornado warning does get expired and not reissued, my friends in Sabine County, I'd recommend staying inside until this ball of lightning just continues to pass you by. Toward Hemp Hill, it looks like some hail is coming down. Lots of lightning back toward Broadus and toward Lufkin. That tornado warning still holding on. We have about 5 minutes left on that, so we'll go ahead and stay on with you for the next 5 minutes until they decide if they're going to continue to keep this in effect, or if they let it expire, or if they cancel it early. Otherwise, things are beginning to calm down in East Texas. Now, this little line here, this one previously had a severe thunderstorm, or I should say a special weather statement out on it. This line from center back out toward to the west of Jasper. Gusty winds coming out of this. This is continuing to move through. If this little cell doesn't eat up the energy that's out in Sabine County, this likely will. So once you get past this line, or I should say once this line passes your city by, you should be in the clear. Maybe still some strikes of lightning, but that is going to be a severe threat. We just got a new radar scan in there. You can see rain is going down. We're not seeing quite as much thunderstorm activity. It's losing energy, which is good for us. Now, that's the main thing that we're seeing. There is still a severe thunderstorm warning out across the state line. Again, not here in East Texas, but we'll continue to keep you updated. Are we able to switch back to our hail tracker?
Sure.
Awesome. We'll just see if there's anything out there that we're watching. Some hail just in southern, that's I believe Angelina County, out toward Jasper. Still some hail that's coming in between Nichols or smaller. So this is beginning to lose some steam, which is good news for us. Savannah, has the National Weather Service given us an update on what they're going to do with that warning?
No updates on that, which makes me think that they're going to let it expire, because that is what they did the last time, like we mentioned. So that's good news. If we haven't gotten any words, we're now just about 4 minutes out from this tornado warning hitting its expiration, and they've been mainly talking about what's going on just out to our east, past into Louisiana. So you can see kind of all this activity, and these are the storms that moved through earlier, all the way out here into almost Monroe, Louisiana. Let's see if I can highlight some of these here. So we're looking at this storm system in here. That's what they've been talking about recently, is all those different storms. So nothing really they've been of concern in East Texas, which is good news. Now, they have not mentioned that tornado warning that is on that storm that's down in Jasper and Newton County. And that's what we've been watching. So that makes me think that they are going to maybe let it expire. The rest of us just getting some heavy rainfall. Our Titan indicators showing a little bit of rotation, but like Sarah mentioned earlier, that can mean that it's just higher up, and higher rotation isn't as bad. What we're looking for is lower rotation, which could indicate something that could form into a funnel cloud or a tornado. But like Sarah showed with the Cape, there's really nothing going on except for in Sabine County. And right now, this kind of storm that's moving towards Sabine County could maybe eat up some of that energy, and that's why we've been kind of following this, and we wanted to keep watching. But so far, we haven't seen anything with that tornado warning. Let me see if it's popped on there still. Yep, so we have just a few more minutes, about 3 more minutes, but doesn't look like we have any updates from the National Weather Service on this exact system specifically.
Well, that's certainly good that we're seeing that begin to weaken. That tornado warning is still in effect. If we want to take a zoomed out look for what we're seeing, areas out toward Houston, I've been seeing some tornado warnings that they're speaking about out toward that area, heading toward Beaumont. So if you have any loved ones out there, just keep them in your thoughts. A tornado warning, where we're seeing all of this lightning again out toward the Gulf Coast. We're just going to show you a wide look while we wait to see what they do with this tornado warning closer to East Texas. Still that one out toward 3:15. This tornado warning out here toward 3 o'clock. Now we're going to stay on with you until that expires. I was seeing some questions on Facebook about what's happening in Kilgore. So if we could maybe go and see what's happening out there, give you guys an update. Kilgore, you guys should be in the clear at this point, or at least on the back end of the stretch of what we're seeing. Now, anywhere between this section of I-20 from Tyler out toward Longview, Kilgore's right there. We are still seeing some rain coming down. When I drove into our CBS 19 studio earlier, there was some ponding on the roadways. Please make sure that you're driving careful. I know that I was hydroplaning on my way here, so learn from my mistake. Don't do that. Slow down. Remember, if you see ponding on the roadways, that's very dangerous to drive into, so turn around, don't drown, and find another way to get there. Some heavy rain out there, but really the lightning, it's out to the east and out to the south. So we're kind of on the back end of that stretch of the worst of the storms here on I-20. Still, of course, just watch out for standing water and ponding. The lightning still through deep East Texas. That's where we're tracking that. Carthage, you guys are going to hear some rumbles of thunder here soon. Still, it's just this little line where we're tracking the gustiest winds. Can we switch over to velocity? That way we can give you an estimate of what those wind gusts are at the moment. We're seeing, it looks like some pretty gusty winds. Granted, this is shooting kind of high in the atmosphere, so we'll continue to monitor this. But earlier we were seeing wind between 70 and 80 miles per hour. So hopefully that has come down if we're able to get a sample of that. Oh, and they just dropped that tornado warning. That is perfect. So we're not seeing that rotation anymore. That's good. We'll, of course, continue to monitor this and bring you the latest. And our Savannah Hale will continue to bring you more at 10 o'clock tonight. Savannah, do you have anything else?
No, it looks like that severe thunderstorm warning even missed Sabine County. So if you're in Sabine County, not under a tornado, or sorry, the severe thunderstorm warning, we've been talking about how that cell did have a tornado warning on it. You don't have a tornado warning and you don't have a severe thunderstorm warning at the moment. It looks like it missed that corner of Sabine County and they really pushed it from Jasper and Newton County over into Louisiana. But that's about all I have for us. Sarah, did you want me to sample some of these winds real quick just so we can kind of take a look at them?
Yeah, let's just get a quick look and see what's going on there. That way, our friends toward St. Augustine and Hemp Hill know what's going toward them. So around 70 mile per hour wind gusts. That is very high. Just make sure that you're staying weather aware. And of course, if you're driving anywhere near Sabine County or out toward Hemp Hill, Zavala, Lufkin, you're on the back end of that now, but towards St. Augustine, please make sure you're driving safely. Otherwise, we hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Thanks so much for joining us.